Hey y'all, this is my vacation video. Headed to Memphis. I had to make a pit stop, so naturally I went to Talladega. I didn't complete my pit stop in less than 9 seconds. If you got a problem.
I'm coming here like a spider monkey.
When I was driving through Tupelo, I stopped at Elvis's birth home. It had one room, no bathroom. I also started my barbecue tour at Johnny's Original. When I got to Memphis, I stayed at the Graceland campground. The tour guide at Graceland said a cattle baron gave his daughter Grace some land. That became Grace's land, which became Graceland. Elvis liked the name, so he kept it. He did add the chandeliers, the green shag carpet, the jungle room, and the billiard room. He also added a recording studio, a gun range, a swimming pool, and believe it or not, a racquetball court. Museum across the street, there was his car collection, which included his mama's pink Cadillac. I finished the day with an Elvis special, peanut butter and banana sandwich. Too bad I didn't get that deep fryer option for my tent. I went out in downtown Memphis and got Gus's fried chicken. The saltiest chicken ever. I had to give Junior half of it, and he had to drink 2 bowls of water. The leg of my trip was heading to Mount Rushmore. When I was driving through Kansas City, I stopped at the Chiefs Stadium. I had to wear my Georgia Tech shirt in honor of Harrison Butker. I also went to LC's barbecue and I got the ribs. Me and Junior spent the night in Nebraska City.
Junior, leave me.
When I got to Mount Rushmore, it was windy as hell, so I had to get one of these cabins. At the Crazy Horse Memorial, Junior escaped from the car. Luckily, I got him back. Mount Rushmore is cool. That's all I got to say. The next leg of my trip was heading to Devil's Tower. Saw my first buffalo on the way there. If you've ever seen Close Encounters of the Third Kind, you'll know what this is. Actually climbers on the tower. That'll give it perspective. Prairie Dog Colony was just outside. This is the view from the campground. The next leg of the trip was to my friend Rick's house near Yellowstone. This is why they call Montana Big Sky Country. I was watching this crop duster fly around forever. Finally got the chance to pull over and take some video. I saw the Little Bighorn Memorial, so I had to pull over. I remember from the Crazy Horse Memorial that Little Big Man was a real person. Y'all should watch that movie. This is my friend Rick's house. It's like a log cabin mansion. Nothing to see here. I'm just a buffalo walking down the road with snow on my head. When we got to the hot springs portion of the park, it was like it changed seasons. Here's Old Faithful. Sorry the video is shaky, but I wanted to watch it with my real eyes. I went chasing waterfalls for this one. Here's what you've been waiting on. Roll that beautiful bear footage. Don't forget Bullwinkle the moose. Weather was awful the next day, so I went to the Buffalo Bill Museum. Had a great collection of guns and art. No barbecue here, but I got a buffalo burger. I said goodbye to Rick and Jennifer, and I went back to Yellowstone. This little fox seemed overly friendly. People must have been feeding it. Got a good video of a little baby buffalo. And these are antelope. They got horns, not antlers. The next leg of the trip was DuBois, Wyoming. It was snowy as hell in the Rockies until I got down into the mesas. DuBois was fun as hell. I would live here if it didn't snow in June. I could walk to this bar. It was fun. People were still Smirnoff icing each other, so I had to Smirnoff ice this one guy. Next, I went to Grand Tetons. That's my favorite park name because it means big old boobies in French or something. Hey ladies, here's a tip from your National Park Service on how to use the restroom. I cannot stress how important it is as a rugged explorer to match your outfit to your Jeep. The next leg of the trip was heading to Salt Lake City. Took the long way so I could go through Idaho and see the Snake River. There were some cool windmills also. The Great Salt Lake was kind of shallow and stinky. The only thing that can live in the water is brine shrimp. I had to taste the water. It was saltier than the ocean. Here's the state capitol and the Mormon church. I stopped at BYU to let Junior run around. I thought Tech had the best view from the stadium, but this ain't bad. Next, I headed to southern Utah and Zion National Park. On my way there, I met Susan. She was about 400 pounds, but she was fun to ride. And my butt was sore afterwards. These are the views from Zion. I'll stop talking for a little bit. They did have a really long tunnel though, several miles long. And now to the Hoover Dam. It's pretty freaking impressive for just a bunch of concrete holding back a bunch more water. Headed towards the Grand Canyon. First, I got my kicks on Route 66, eating a double elk burger. At the Grand Canyon National Park, I saw the canyon from Mather Point and Hopi Point. Finally got to set up my entire campsite with the hammock and the bike and everything. The weather was good, not too hot or too cold. These ravens were all over the place. I nicknamed this one Lamar Jackson. Grand Canyon has its own choo-choo train. You can come in and leave all on the train. I decided to just rest one day. Hung out in the hammock with Junior. The locals kept showing up though. They all seemed to have a drinking problem. This is my normal view from the hammock. At the bar, Junior got tuckered out, so he had to rest. The elk inspired me to have a sunset beer at the Grand Canyon Rim. I left the Grand Canyon for Carlsbad Caverns. Standing on a corner in Winslow, Arizona, such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a flatbed Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. Junior had to get boarded at Carlsbad Caverns, but hey. Here's the great room at Carlsbad Caverns. So I made the mistake of taking the elevator down. Then I had to end up walking back up the trail. It ended up being a 1 mile long, 700-foot climb. I left Carlsbad and headed towards Big Bend in Texas. The park was closed for camping, but it was hot as hell and I didn't want to stay anyway. The Border Patrol pulled me over on the way back. Luckily, they didn't realize my passenger was from the Weimar Republic. Then finally, I headed for the last stop on my trip, Austin, Texas. I had an extra day, so I stopped at Enchanted Rock. This is Texas's version of Stone Mountain. It was hot as hell. I did notice that Texas forgot to put the Democrat side from the Civil War up on their mountain, so let's help them out. In Austin, I went to Laurel's Smokehouse with the Harris family. Laurel blends Franklin's barbecue with Asian flavors. Then we met up with Eric and Matt to watch comedy. This is Hans Kim, this is Hans Kim, this is Hans Kim, this is Hans Kim. Then we hit the kickball party. I got some good mountain biking in with Brandon. I didn't get any footage, so I created this simulation.
Kevin with a massive.
Nice wound. Here we are at the kickball tournament. It was hot as hell. Luckily my shoes didn't melt like they did in the past.
Hell yeah!
You're short. You're here, Travis. Travis, go. Nice, Eric.
This is one hell of a first base coach drinking that Lone Star beer. Then more Austin barbecue. I got turkey and kielbasa at Salt Lake. Then we ate brisket and beef rib, family style at Terry Black's. This Kill Tony show was one of the best ever. It had Shane Gillis as special guest. And finally I headed home, over 14 hours with stops to Atlanta. If you stuck around this long, here's my joke that I didn't get to tell at Kill Tony. As I traveled here through the desert to Austin, Texas, I got to go through the great Navajo Nation. While I was there, I got to visit their great banquet hall. I was surrounded by Navajo. I was the only paleface in the crowd. They called their great banquet hall Golden Corral. Golden because that's some sort of precious metal. Corral because of that array of turnstiles and gates that you have to walk in. You know, right next to the cashier. While I was there, I got to sit next to the great chief, like 'em meatballs in my taco shells. He anointed me with my official Navajo name. Who the fuck invited this guy?